Hey, everybody. I'm really excited for this conversation today with a true innovator in the infrastructure space at Gcore, a company that's really fascinating and multidimensional. And we're going to dive into a topic that I'm intrigued around cybersecurity and protecting your digital assets without compromising performance. For those of you who haven't heard of Gcore, maybe we'll start with some personal introductions first and then dive into who is Gcore and the topic of the day. Michael, welcome to the broadcast. Maybe introduce yourself and your mission and team within Gcore.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you very much for this invitation. I am a pre-sales engineer within the Gcore. I'm responsible for all the technical aspects for the security products, especially web application and API security. So I'm the guy in between all of our architecture and engineering teams and our potential and our current customers and our business partners, resellers, and security service providers.
Welcome, and you're in Poland, beautiful country. Get ready for winter, as we are here in
Winter's
North America. That's winter's coming. Itamar, on the product side, maybe introduce yourself and your background as well.
Yes, my name is Itamar. I joined Gcore almost 1 year ago, and I was leading the WAAP solution from StackPath, and I'm managing the product on all of its aspects, both technical, commercial, marketing, everything, end-to-end responsibility for the product.
So we're going to dive into the product, maybe for the viewers and listeners. Introduce Gcore at a high level because you do much more than security infrastructure. You have a whole range of offerings. How would you describe your mission these days at a high level?
Yes, well, basically, Gcore is one of the unique companies in the market that has a very broad portfolio of product and solutions, starting from cloud solutions, AI, actually, and edge network. And part of the edge network, we have, again, some very comprehensive portfolio as well. We have our CDN solution. I think that we have over 180 POPs over the world, and we are growing. We have machine learning based layer 3 and layer 4 DDoS protection. And we have, of course, WAF that completes this portfolio. WAP that completes this portfolio.
That's an amazing offering. And we're going to focus like a laser on security these days and how to secure all of that infrastructure and your customers' infrastructure. So, Itamar, how would you describe WAP and how does it protect websites from various threats without being a burden and slowing them down? What's the big idea behind WAP?
So basically, traditionally we have WAF solution, which was Web Application Firewall, protecting a website from traditional, what we call OWASP 10 threats or vulnerabilities. But nowadays, the threats are much bigger than that. We have a lot of automation. We have a lot of AI, and the attackers become much more sophisticated. And the industry basically decided to go with another term. I think it's another suite of product that includes that it called WAP, and WAP includes basically 4 different solutions on the same under the same roof. So the first one is a traditional web application firewall. It has also a bot protection, which I think most of the nowadays attacks are because they are being used by automation tools. We have layer 7 DDoS, and we have API security, since 83% of the traffic nowadays is machine to machine. It is driven by API. So the real challenge of protecting applications is providing robust security and mitigation for attacks while keeping high performance, availability, and latency as low as possible. And this is basically can be done only if you put the security solution as close as possible to the end user. This is why
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And Michael, you're on the front lines of helping clients deploy this technology. And there are so many features within WAAP, bot management, DDoS, API security. I mean, how do they all work together to keep things secure? And how do you sort of manage and provision all of that?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So basically, the biggest challenge that organizations are facing with implementing the security solutions is maintenance required to keep this solution up to date, correctly implemented, and have the security policy, right security policies in place, right? It's a process. It's not a one-time activity. And that makes challenges. From my experience, what I was seeing for the past more than 10 years when acting on the field with the customer during the implementation, configuration, and supporting them after the deployment process, was that sooner or later they were turning off some features. They have these solutions in so-called passive mode or monitor mode, which doesn't make sense for the security solution, right? They are sophisticated. They need to be correctly maintained, and they also need to be implemented in the way that they will not affect the business. And this is the biggest challenge that I was facing for the past years. And this is something very unique to Gcore's approach and those components that you have mentioned. Thanks to that, we are also the company which is experienced in the field of the artificial intelligence and creating this type of mechanism. We are empowering our solution with this type of automation, with way of seamless integration, which means we are near zero false positive rates. We are able to implement on the production environments without affecting the end users' experience. It's crucial nowadays to keep the business running as well, keep this business secure.
That's a great point. I mean, ease of use and ease of integration into a company's existing setup is so important. I mean, how do you think about reducing the workload of IT teams? And maybe we're not going to do a demo today. I'm sure you do that every day, but talk about the user experience and the IT experience that you try to deliver.
You're right, and this is also another let's say a great issue, right? The application development it's possible, and it's happening faster than ever, and companies, especially after this massive shift to remote home working, right, caused mainly by COVID as well. They need those applications to be up and running, sometimes literally in hours, in minutes. But unfortunately, the security it's not keeping pace of that. As we know, it was loudly announced. A few million of skilled cyber professionals are missing on the market, right? There are positions in the companies for them, but those people are not on the market. You require a lot of years of learning, of getting the experience, and this is how the the SaaS offerings come into the place. The vendor with very experienced team, with our great engineering and with our experience within the AI and security areas, is taking the teams to manage the solution, to develop the solution, to maintain, and to provide to the end customer as a ready product, right? The customer, the potential organization, they don't need to have this overhead for finding the right people, to hiring them, and to maintain more and more security solutions in place, because the threat landscape is still evolving, right?
Yeah, evolving. And I know, Itamar, you've seen many decades of this evolution. Sorry, I'm not
Yep.
calling you old, but you've seen it all as the product owner. Maybe talk about what you're seeing when it comes to things like DDoS, getting more and more aggressive, massive attacks. API security is becoming just critical for those developers. I mean, talk about some of the threats that you're on the front lines of.
Yeah, this is this is a constant race between us
Mhm.
as and as security solution providers and the attackers, where they become more and more sophisticated, and they use the same basically capabilities that we are using as developing solution developers. They're using a lot of automation, which is abundantly available on the internet. They're using AI, they're using bots. And I think one of the biggest challenges is, and they're basically are getting very good in hiding. And this is one of the biggest challenges in these kind of a DDoS attacks, especially layer 7 DDoS attack. It is to identify the attacker and to mitigate the attack and distinguish the attacker from good traffic. Good users that are, let's say, try go to e-commerce site and try to buy something. And you can take it as example the Chinese Beichor days or Black Friday. We have peak of traffic, and it is with traditional solutions, it is very hard to distinguish if it's a peak of real traffic of customers that are want to buy something, to make a transaction, or an attack. And one of our unique strengths point of our solution is that we use, to begin with, it's not something that we add to the product. This is a base, it is a core capability of our product. We use AI and machine learning to analyze the behavior of the traffic.
Wow.
And we go very deep into the traffic and distinguish between good traffic and bad traffic, and we keep history of basically of IPs and of IP addresses, and we give them a rating. Okay, we give them
Mm.
reputation. So there might be that there was an attacker that used this IP and he did a different attack, but it is already had some bad rank in our system, and now he's doing something. So we increase his rating and we increase his rating. So in this way, basically, we are being able to deal with all of these attacks, distinguish the attackers from the big crowd of good users, and mitigate them, block them, without affecting the availability of the site itself. The business keeps on running, and all of these attackers go to some black hole, and they stay there for a long time.
That is amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
Differentiating between the good bots and the malicious ones. And
yeah.
I also see here you guard against zero-day vulnerabilities. That's
Yes,
increasingly a challenge. How do you stop these threats before
we
they
are
get into the headlines?
yeah, we're doing it in the same way, basically. You using our machine learning and behavioral engines, and we detect anomalies in traffic, and we detect if it is, since we collect a lot of data, we know if it is good transactions or attacks, and we have what we call security insights. Okay, and we trigger an alert to the user and say, okay, you have some suspicious behavior here. It's better if you turn on these and these policies. And normally it solves the problem. Some of, by the way, of these attacks are mitigated automatically using this IP reputation mechanism, IP reputation and client identification mechanism, where we already have the footprint of these attackers, because most of the time these are the same users and the same coming from the same regions, And we have already the footprint in the system. So we shut them down for every attempt of or every anomaly. And we block these attacks even without the user being aware that we mitigated it.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And Michael, you're on the front lines of helping customers and partners address these challenges. What do you see with a typical deployment? I mean, what challenges do customers typically face with these kind of solutions? And how long does it take to implement and get into production?
So with Gcore's platform, with Web Application and Firewall protection, I would say API protection, I would say it is possible literally in a few minutes.
Wow.
Is of
Okay. I wasn't
deployment.
expecting that.
Yeah, it's like during my daily activities and during the presentation with the customer, I'm starting asking them, okay, I can show you something on my lab environment, or we can just go and deploy some new protection layer for some just new, let's say, vulnerable web application. There are some, web applications that you can use for playing, for testing, or verifying the value of the security solution. But what is also very important to know and remember about the practical aspects of implementation, it's that not everything is well known to the end user of the application, of the system, of this part of infrastructure that we need to help them to secure. There is, for example, the term, very, very interesting term of shadow APIs, right? API is application programmable interface, which means they are often used to, they are not exposed to humans, they are used on the layer application talks to application, right? You have a website which needs to be fully integrated with your mobile application. You have your mobile version of the application, and they need to talk together. Yeah, and this is an API. And sometimes for this type of functionality, you need a third company. You need to have a third party to ask them to deliver you this type of solution. And you don't know everything about it. Sometimes it's how to their own knowledge, their proprietary protocols, but they implement this in your infrastructure, in your environment, and you are not fully aware of that. You don't know how exactly that works, because it's like confidential stuff. But you need still to be protected, right? And the great feature, the response for that, to make this type of features, so-called virtual patching, it's also the API discovery. This mechanism within our WAAP product is able to reveal, to show to the end customer, hey, you have something unprotected, and most probably you are not aware of it.
Yeah, great insight. And Itamar, when it comes, the product, you're the product owner. It sounds like this solution is ideal for really any industry or size company, but where are you seeing your sweet spot? Where are you getting the most traction these days with customers and partners?
Well, I think it's mainly concerning, enterprises, governments, e-commerce, and one of our unique and key selling points is that our entire solution runs on Gcore Cloud, as we are a cloud provider, and versus most of the competition is running either on Azure, GCP, or AWS. And we are not subjected to, if you know what is the Cloud Act. And for every customer, and as you know today, privacy is a big thing. And in Europe, we have GDPR. And the Cloud Act basically forces all of these public cloud providers to disclose customer information, pending, a court decision or something like this, or warrant, and we are not subjected to that. So every company that they are concerned on the privacy of their data and the customers. They are a good candidate for us. It's government, it's health organizations, commercial banks. This is our sweet spot. For example, that CAPTCHA solution. You know, if you're using third-party capture solution, it is transmit some of your data to the third-party vendor. You know, so
Wow.
we don't have so we don't have that. So everything is homegrown. Everything is on our private cloud, and we are responsible. And one of our key advantages is that we are a very agile company, and if it is required, we can deploy a data center wherever the customer asks us, and we are kind of free from all of these kind of limitations.
Yeah, that's great. Private cloud and hybrid cloud is hugely of interest to these organizations.
Yeah.
Very exciting. And you must have a ton of features and roadmap that you're focused on. What is exciting, I guess, as the product owner most over the next months, year or two, as far as the direction?
I think that, when I evaluated the Gcore, I think one of the things that were very appealing is the architecture, and it was using machine learning and AI to begin with. Okay, we have a very unique architecture, what we call a single brain, where basically we have with a single brain, but kind of a split brain, that we have one part which is on the edge. This is the part that is enforcing it is doing the enforcement. This one part is basically blocks the attack. Okay, and it reacts in milliseconds, and it's very close to the user. It's very fast, and we have what we call a security cloud. This is where all of our analytic and machine learning engines are running. Okay, and we send some of the traffic to these engines, and they're getting doing all this kind of a behavioral magic that I talked before. So my investment for the next year will be to expand on that. Okay, and this is not just that everybody is talking about AI. I think that our goal is to save the user as much as possible of the burden of configuration, because configuration or misconfiguration is where you find all of these kind of security holes. Okay, so and today, even today, I think it's more than 80%. I think 90% of the threats are mitigated by our WAF without any single line of configuration from the user.
Wow.
Okay, and this is the direction, to use more AI and more machine learning to deal with more attacks and sophisticated attacks, and that basically it should be plug and play. The same experience that you have on your phone. You put your SIM and you talk. This is it.
And it just works. That's fantastic. Well,
this is it.
We need more work like this and solutions like this, given the threats that are out there and the investments you're making are so important for customers and the industry. Onwards and upwards. Keep up the great work. And thanks for joining, guys.
Thank you very much.
And thanks everyone for listening and watching. And, reach out to Gcore. They're a company that's making a lot of waves, not just in Europe, but in North America as well. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.